Our first interview on the Congressman Ferris High School Sports Show brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza. The Naples Big Green, which I've always said is one of the great nicknames in Section 5, and even greater than that, they're Section 5 champions again. Class C2 soccer, the first time in 20 years. Joining us, defender Ben Green, Ryan Lester, and coach Ryan Betrus. Guys, congratulations on the big win. Ben Green, I'm going to start with you because I used to be a defender, so I'm partial to defenders. But this is a team that won with defense, and you won a championship game that way too, with another shutout. What has made this group in the back and your goalie, the whole unit, defend so well? How does a team get that good on defense?
Well, I think it's just that we trust each other and we have each other's back all the time. You know, if I step up, I can trust my outside backs coming behind me. And if, they mess up, I'm there for them. If I mess up, they're there for me. And then having Max in the goal there, I mean, he's amazing back there. So he makes it even better.
And Steve, this is a special championship for these guys for many reasons. Why don't you tell everybody what the real significance, not only for this group and this school and this era, but the historical perspective from one of the great small school programs in Section 5.
Sure. I believe their 12th overall championship, but the first since the legendary coach Gary Schenk passed 7 or 8 years ago. And Ryan, I know that.
Hang on. We're journalists. We're journalists still. 2011, sir. 9 years
2011.
ago.
So 9 years ago. And, we're also conversationalists, but we can go with that. Ryan, Gary was such a figure in Naples and beyond, and soccer in the Valley. Bob Chavez had a great line, how, Naples, you think of grapes and you think of soccer. And, I know that this year with everything being different, you were able to play that game, and you had one of the best quotes I've seen in a long time. After the game, you said you were going to go sit on Gary Schenk Field into the night and just absorb it all. And talk about just the whole feeling and the community presence. And how late did you sit on that field on that Thursday night?
It was definitely well after dark before I left the field. I had a couple of my other coaches show up, and we just hung out and talked about the season and just reflected on what a great experience it was to be able to just win that sectional title on Schenk Field. It'll never happen again. COVID allowed that to happen, and so that part was just icing on the cake for sure. But it's just the level of support that we have in the Naples community is just outstanding. The kids all got free breakfasts. I'm pretty sure they got free lunches. I'm pretty sure they got free dinners. All the restaurants around town were helping us out with everything. Just, the pouring of support from the community. In winning or losing, it doesn't matter. They're there for us, and they're just so wonderful.
That's so cool to hear. Ryan Lester, let me ask you about 2 years ago. Were you on the team 2 years ago?
Yeah, I was.
This is the same team that beat you, Geneseo, right? For the championship. How much did you guys carry that with you into this moment and this game to get some revenge on what was going to be the last game no matter what, and certainly a huge stage?
Yeah, I definitely think that played a factor. We all had that heavy on our minds that was the team we lost to 2 years ago. And we also wanted to bring a championship to Naples, and it just made it even sweeter that it was against a team that beat us 2 years ago on our home field.
So Ben Green, what was the celebration like? Our question, and the big question too, were fire trucks involved?
Yes, there was a parade after. We all got loaded up on a bus, and they paraded us through town. So it was awesome. Great support from the community. It was a great experience.
Ryan Lester, how relieved were you guys actually to get the season in? I know there'd been some COVID issues, and you guys had some games that were scrapped, not through fault of your own. I think it was, but another school. But how worried were you that you guys? And I know Section 5 moved up the games, right? But were you guys worried that this might not happen? Undefeated season, what a great season! It could have been taken away.
Yeah, we were all definitely very concerned about getting the season in. We certainly had a lot of close calls that could have gone either way, and it was just kind of a miracle that we were able to play the full season with just a minor hiccup from the Dundee Bradford team.
So, Coach Betrus, in a town like Naples, I don't know if they're born with soccer balls in the cribs, and you teach fourth grade, so you kind of see these kids coming up through the pipeline. So how does this all come together? Because it's a small school and it's hard to sustain excellence at any school, but a small school, it tends to be more cyclical. How does Naples do it?
You know, the saying that excellence breeds excellence. A lot of the players that are current players in Naples have dads that were players in 89 or 99, you know, and so just the overall history of Naples soccer has allowed us to have some fantastic youth coaches. And it really comes down to just the amount of youth coaches that we have that we're able to, you know, give kids great training from an early level. And we start them at age 4, and we've got them going all the way up through, and they're great coaches all the way through.
So 89 and 99, for our listening audience, people don't know, those are the 2 years that Gary Schenk's Naples teams won state championships. We're going to go back to that in just a minute, but we got to talk about the goal. How can we talk about a championship soccer game, 1 goal scored, right? And it's Donovan Todd. I wonder if he was named after Landon Donovan. Who knows? Maybe not. First minute of the second half, right? They always tell you guys early in the first half or early in the game and either side of the half are dangerous times. Who's got the best description of this goal? We weren't there to see it. Austin Chapman with a corner kick. And Ben, take me through what you saw from the back. What did you see from back there?
Oh, it came in off the corner and it bounced around a little bit inside, and then I saw Donnie wind up and he smoked it right into the side of the net. So it was an awesome shot, right hard to the corner.
No doubter.
Was a great description. Donnie wound up and he smoked it. Ryan, what'd you see?
Yeah, I saw it pretty similar. I was up in the box when the ball was bouncing around. The Geneseo guy headed it straight up in the air off of Donnie's head, and then when it came back down, Donnie was just ready for it, and he just crushed it into the back of the net.
And you guys had only given up 6 goals all year long, had shut out, I think 5 of your last 6 opponents. When you guys get a lead, how confident are you guys, Ben, that it's shutdown time?
Oh, yeah, very confident. And it's very helpful when, you know, our midfielder and our forwards are so good with possessing the ball, passing around. The second half of the final game there, they controlled the ball a lot up top. So it makes our job very easy. And then, you know, they can trust us in the back that we're going to do our job and keep the other team scoreless.
So on the sidelines was Jeannie Schenk, Gary Schenk's wife. Even though he's been gone for 9 years, I mean, when I used to cover games in the 90s, she would offer everybody apples, and I know she's got the granola snacks, and it's a big part of it. Ryan, and there's 2 Ryans. Ryan, talk about you know what it was like as the final seconds counted down, and Mrs. Schenk is on the sidelines, and you realize that this moment that your whole life probably since you started kicking a soccer ball is going to end the way you want it to end.
Ryan Lester.
Okay. No, it was a great feeling. Once we scored that goal, definitely was a big sigh of relief. But then, as those final seconds ticked down, and I realized we were like gonna win the game, it was a super special moment. Just the whole crowd going crazy, our coaches going wild. It was just a great moment all around.
Now, Ben, our buddy Bob Chavez, who we used to work with, said he asked you who you won this one for, and you said without a hesitation, Gary Schenk. You're just a young boy. You were like 8 years old when he passed. How well do you know of the program and Mr. Schenk and of the shorts? And he always used to wear those shorts, never pants on the sideline, no matter how cold it was. But what do you know about the Schenk family and Mr. Schenk?
Well, I know that he just made this program what it was, and we wouldn't be here without, you know, him over the years. And, you know, I remember going to his funeral service in the gym back, 9 years ago, and he's just always been a Naples legend. You've always been hearing about him. So,
is your dad one of those guys that played for Gary Schenk?
No, he was not. He actually went to Honeywell, our rival. But
hey, props to Dad for rooting for the Big Green.
Yeah.
Ryan, Coach Betrus, let me ask you. You took over the program after Coach Schenk had passed. How difficult was that as a coach, as a role model, as a teacher trying to lead these young men at that time? Obviously not these guys, but how difficult was the time for the program?
I had coached the JV team with Gary as my varsity coach for 10 years. And so I had, been able to learn a lot from him in that time. And so, I had always hoped to make the transition. I never wanted it to happen the way that it did. You know, I was hoping to have him for guidance, you know, the first few years, but you know, to have it happen the way it did, you know, it was tough. It was, you know, a lot of pressure on the shoulders. But, you know, again, goes back to the community and just the level of support that was there from everybody. You know, he had some great assistant coaches that stuck around with me for a couple of years until I really had my feet under me, and just, you know, things were very good right from the start just because of the support from around me.
We're talking some Naples Big Green soccer here, and you know, Gary Schenk, God rest his soul, he was 66 when he passed. 557 career wins, 7 Section 5 titles, and like I said, those 2 state titles. And one thing I'll always remember, I had to write the story when he passed, and it was extremely sad and tragic. But I know this, and Ryan, Coach Betrus, you might be able to. He was on the soccer field when he passed. He was coaching soccer, and I think that's probably the way he'd want to go. That he did something he loved doing with coaching soccer, and that's the last moments he spent on this earth, other than probably with his wife and his family. That's probably the way he'd want to go. So, guys, it's been a real special season for you. Not many teams get to win them all, even in soccer, right? No ties, just 13-0, right? 13-0. Sound shut up.
12-0.
Beg your pardon, 12-0. Steve, this is a cool team. It's a cool sound. I mean, you guys telling me about, you know, getting breakfasts. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that sounds like Hoosiers to me.
I mean, if there's free grape pies, I'm going to adopt one of you.
Hey, gentlemen, Ryan Lester, thanks for coming on the show. Get up a little tall. Let's see that shirt. Let me see. Stand up a little bit there. There it is. Naples soccer. I love it. Ben Green. I mean, where else? No one. Did your dad move to Honeoye? From Honeoye because he said my kid's got to play for the Big Green.
No, he actually just ended up kind of like Coach just got a job in Naples, and that's just the way it worked out. But
we actually got the job the same year.
Really?
Yep, 25 years ago.
Well, wow. Gentlemen, congratulations. Coach, thanks for setting this up for us. We appreciate it. Enjoy the off season. Let's hopefully everything's back to normal next year for everybody. So thanks a lot, Naples Soccer. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
We're going to head to our first break, and as we do that, Steve, I want to tell all of our audience about my friends from Bath Fitter. If you need to get your bathroom done in one day, they can do it in one day. Call them now, 617-0007. Try to get you in before the holidays. It's a busy time. They do great volume in Rochester and the greater Rochester area because they do great work. Number 3 in the country in volume and sales, bathfitter.com. Please support them because they support local high school sports. Without companies like Bath Fitter, we couldn't be on the air. You're listening to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza.